Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today you've caught me in the series of test flights for the Strikebreaker 21. The Strikebreaker 21 comes from a line of highly maneuverable fighters with a record for recovering from loss of control as well as a remarkable ability to fly and land when heavily damaged. The Strikebreaker 21 improves from the Strikebreaker 8 by replacing the forward canards with their more advanced forms, and the rear canards with more conventional control surfaces, as well as an upgraded ejection system with a 90% survival rate at low altitudes and 100% survival rate at high altitudes, compared to survival rates of 70% low and 90% high on the Strikebreaker 8. Along with these functional improvements, the Strikebreaker 21 moves away from foreign parts to a completely stock set, reducing the chance of compatibility issues and increasing production speed. The Strikebreaker 21 was created by Guard 13007 Industries, along with all other Strikebreaker series fighters. And now that that's out of the way, I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing, and fly it around the KSP, and probably lose control just a little bit from time to time, like that. But as you can see, it recovers remarkably well even from ridiculously stupid things like that. Now, what makes this fighter such a good design, I really don't know, but I have to think it's something to do with this wing, the way it's one wing forward, one wing backwards. Also the, what do you call it? These wings that are the panel type wings, the like 1x2, you know, these ones, they're angled, and the way they're angled makes them technically unstable, but on this craft they work really well in this configuration. I don't know if you've noticed, but basically whenever you pull up too hard in a turn, it has the tendency to want to flip upside down. Now, you might think that's a bad thing, but the truth is that if it has a tendency to do anything at all, like when you do a particular maneuver, that means you have a better chance of recovering from it because you know what it's going to do. In this case, I know it's going to most likely flip upside down when I pull too hard, so I can not only watch for it flipping upside down to know if I'm losing control, I can also yeah, sorry, I was a little too low to the ground for my own comfort there, so I ejected. So that's a demonstration of the ejection system. As you can see, there's these two Separatrons here and a parachute on the underbelly. Those, along with the canards, are all on the center of mass of the nose of the front of the plane when it's fully attached. So that way it allows you to fly a little bit with just the forward part if you decouple at like a high altitude. So anyhow, going back to what I was saying about these wings and how they allow you to maintain control better when, well, losing control. Basically, I think of it this way. It's like, first of all, when I'm turning, and I might be turning a little too hard, I can see when I'm about to turn too hard because it'll start to try to flip over. Hold on, let me see if I can get you a demonstration. I'm actually flying fairly stable right now, so that's not going to work out. But hopefully, there you go. I see that I was starting to pull a bit too hard. Of course, right there, that wasn't the best example for what I mean, but sometimes, hopefully I'll get a good example of it in this video, but sometimes you'll see me, sometimes you'll see me turning, right? And it'll start to twitch down, but I'll keep it from twitching down like that and maintain the turn. Other times it flips, like right there, it just did it. Like, if you watch closely, hopefully it'll do it again. Nope, it's not going to do it right now. Oh, that was sort of an example, but again, it pitched too hard. Basically, sometimes I can see it about to pitch and correct it before it does it. Other times it just, well, let me, and flip out. Nope, it's not going to flip out that time. Well, anyhow, other times it'll flip out entirely, but the thing is, that allows you to recover surprisingly well because you can always expect it to do that. You can always expect to end up in a position somewhat like this. So you can pitch up, you can flip out like that, you can roll, there's several things you can know to do to try to recover from that, the way you're positioned, because you know it's going to flip over that way. Now, occasionally it does the opposite and it rolls over onto, like, the proper way, like this, you know, straight up and down. I can't think of a better way to describe what I mean except eject, because that would have been us hitting the ground right there. But I ejected. Like I said, this thing has a very good eject system. I'm in love with this eject system because it saved my ass so many times. Basically, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to have a little fun flying this around close to the Space Center, see what I can run into, see what I can avoid running into, and see how many close calls I can survive from, such as this. Whoa! Alright, So, now we're going to have a demonstration of this thing's supreme ability to survive from things that you shouldn't be able to survive from, unless it doesn't survive from it. In which case, I'm a total liar, you can sue me or something. But as you can see, we have removed a wing and, okay, we're losing control, so never mind that example. But I've previously been able to land this thing with extreme damage, such as missing a wing. Actually, I've never had it that extreme before, but I imagine it is possible due to KSP physics. Also, you might have noticed the nose cone of this is actually ripped off by the force of deployment from the parachute. Yeah. Luckily, the parachute has only in one instance ripped off from the capsule, and in that instance, Jebediah Kerman here was able to jump out and survive the impact. It was over at the end of the runway over there. Okay, now that I am done recovering from that crash, I am ready to continue testing. This time, I won't accidentally hit G as soon as we load. I'll hit it now instead. Darn it, I was hoping to hit it a little early just to be kind of ridiculous like that, but, oh well. No! Unfortunately, one of the few things the Strikebreaker cannot survive is crashing face first into the air traffic control tower. Rest in peace, Jebediah. Rest in... Never mind, we have the Revertotron. Okay, and now that we are back here with our favorite test pilot, Jebediah Kerman, who cannot see anything except those, which I'm going to get out of the way now. Let's teach that's air traffic control tower. Who's boss? Yeah! By doing a close flyby, because somehow that teaches it who's boss. Don't ask me how this works. I'm sure I don't know. Alright, and now we're going to just stop midair, or we're gonna... Wait, nope, we're gonna... Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Cool. I was actually very scared that that was gonna end badly and ready to hit eject at any moment. Luckily, I didn't need to. Whoa-wee. Yeah, this thing's fun, but it can get out of control. However, it is very easy to recover from going out of control. As I was saying before, it's usually very easy. Also, since this is based very heavily on, of course, the Strikebreaker 8, it is very similar. Of course, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a couple of improvements and changes. So I want to reply to someone who recently made a comment on that really old video that they somehow discovered despite it being really old. They said that this plane was not very stable. Here I'm going to turn off the SAS and let it just fly the way it wants to. Well, except with the occasional input, such as there I pitched up a bit to correct for it pulling down a little as it wants to do. Of course, that little pitch maneuver was just a bit too much for it, and it pitched up a lot. But now that you can see I have precision controls on, it only takes a tiny bit of pitch to maintain a relatively straight heading. This is a very stable craft as long as you don't do anything with it. Of course, the thing is, you want to do stuff with it. It is very maneuverable for doing stuff with it, such as turning around very suddenly and then doing this weird loop thing that I'm now doing for some reason. So let's go back to normal. Oh, which is going to turn that way. And we're going to go land on the island runway for no apparent reason. So now that we're at 1,600 kilometers, no, 1,600 meters, and I was about to say miles, and then I said kilometers, which was still wrong. Now that we're at these altitudes, I am very bad with units very suddenly. Actually, not very suddenly. That happened the other day, too. It was kind of strange. Now that we're going low, and we're approaching the island runway pretty quickly now, I'm going to throttle down the engines. In fact, technically I should turn them off, but I kind of want to have like the jet, you know, like the sound of the jet still going as I come in for a landing, because, you know, in reality, planes always land with the engines still on, you know, for the most part, unless they're a glider, or they blew up their engines because someone flew like I do. What altitude is the end of that runway at? I don't want to hit it. Oh! Another one of the few things the Strikebreaker cannot survive is running into the edge of a runway, because someone stopped paying attention to where the runway is to turn on the brakes. Also, I might have been able to survive that anyhow, but I did not react fast enough. Pilot error. Thanks to the new magical power of the Revertotron, Jebediah Kerman is once again ready to be our test pilot. As far as he's concerned, this is the first test flight he's ever taken in the Strikebreaker, because we've erased his well, actually we didn't erase his memory, we just, you know, reverted him. Every single time, because he crashed. Every single time. Actually, no, he's survived several times. In fact, most of the times, he's died very few times. However, even then, we were just too lazy to recover him and get him another fighter. I mean, these things are expensive. We'd rather activate the Revertotron and pretend like it never happened. Unfortunately, someone discovered that it was happening, and shit. Yeah, we weren't going to be able to pull out of that dive in time, so I, ejected. As you should do if you realize you're not going to be able to survive a particular maneuver you're doing, unless you're playing Kerbal Space Program the deadly way. That didn't.